Welcome to Road Adventure Photos. Today, we're gonna go to Farrow Harley-Davidson. And that's kind of ironic, because if you watch my last video, you'll find that I'm not exactly pro-dealer right now. I wouldn't say that I'm not anti-dealer. I'm anti-dealer on some aspects, but I would say that I am wishing they would change their ways. But what do I know? I'm just a rider. I know nothing about running a dealership business. So my only perspective is from that of a rider. This is Chestnut Hills Road. This is a nice road to come and take a little scoot on every once in a while. It's just north of Newark, Ohio. But the dealerships are great for seeing the new models, test riding, hosting rides, sometimes just general chit chat. But at the Harley-Davidson dealers, I never feel welcome because I'm not a big budget guy. So lawn clippings, oh God, I don't care. Have any of you ever been wrecked by lawn clippings? I have not. I just wondered, because I've never had a problem. I'm sure they could. I've seen leaves nearly wreck people, as long as they're wet leaves. But back to my high horse about dealerships. You know, they're doing their thing, I'm doing mine. That's the way I'm starting to look at it. They're not your friend. They are trying to make a buck. A lot of them aren't even that enthusiastic about motorcycles, except for the paycheck it gives them, which is fine. I mean, think about your job. Are you enthusiastic about it? Most of us aren't. So you can't expect a dealership to give anything except false impressions about how enthused they are about you and your motorcycle. They are enthused about you and your wallet. Now, my problem with dealerships comes in from poor service and inflated prices on parts. Is that something they have to do to maintain their business model? Maybe, what do I know? I don't think I should be telling them they shouldn't be doing that, because if it's paying paychecks and putting food on the table and that's the only way to do it, there you go. But from my perspective, it's a pain point, because like this motorcycle, last time I took it to a Honda dealer, they took about $2,000, and a large chunk of that was tires, about $900 worth of it, which is another sore point. But they took $2,000 and it had to go back 3 times, and they did nearly everything wrong except for the tires. And a lot of these Honda shops, and well, this one was a multi-brand shop, they're switching to off-road stuff. They're making money hand over fist over these ATVs, four-wheelers and stuff. So their focus is not on maintaining the Goldwing. Most of their mechanics there barely know what they're doing. They're not happy they're working on one, hence the problems. So bad that they couldn't even install a battery without a problem. That's pretty bad. And after that happened to me, man, I still haven't got over it. I bought motorcycles there since I'm 18, or I was 18 when I bought my first one there, and I'm 57 now. So we're coming up on 40 years. Almost 40 years I bought motorcycles and had them serviced there, and they did a job so poorly that I'm thinking about never going to any dealer unless I have to again. Because I don't understand why he did that to me. I have no idea. And they weren't even pleasant about getting their mistake fixed. It just wasn't there. It was, they might as well have been flipping the bird at me. I'll put it that way. They shouldn't have even spoke to me. They should have just come out and flipped me the bird and walked away. And I would have walked away happier about the experience. That's how mad I am at them, you know? So, why not turn lemons into lemonade? And I'm getting older now, and I like to put the miles in, but the reason I never liked working on the motorcycles was that's time away from riding. I'd rather have a few spare motorcycles and have one in the shop and have one ready to go and do like that than I would work on them. But now, just so far from the initial experience of setting up my shop, I'm enjoying the tedious nature of it all. And right now, all I'm doing is trying to clear out junk and make some workspaces. I've lived in that house a long time. So when you live in a house a long time, believe me, junk accumulates, and junk is your worst nightmare. It's a downer to go to do something, and every time you go to do something, the first step is clearing away a bunch of junk. It makes you not want to do it, which happens. Sometimes you just say, oh, the heck with it. But yeah, I've got the next big plan is to clear a spot for my tire changer. I've got a tire changer, but it's always buried under junk. And it's a Harbor Freight tire changer, which is junk by default. So you're half tempted to throw that in with the junk you're throwing out, but we're going to try to make a go of it. I've seen videos where they did some modifications. We'll give it a whirl. We're coming into Johnstown, Ohio. Johnstown is experiencing a huge boom right now. Through an Intel boondoggle that the last administration put together, they came in, bought up an incredible amount of land. They were supposed to be putting in a chip manufacturing plant. Now, why that chip manufacturing plant just had to cut through the most expensive real estate in the Franklin-Licking County area, I don't know. But they appropriated our tax money for the project, and they've just loaded this little town I mean, way overloaded it. And the people that used to live here, it was just a quiet little burg. But that's all over now. And it's pretty dangerous riding through here because you have people with a lot of money who came here from places where the driving style is either non-existent because they all ride buses and public transportation, or it's really poor because maybe they came from another country and they didn't have to go through a strenuous training to get to drive in the United States. And there's all sorts of reasons why we have imported a huge amount of bad drivers, but here they are, and I'm on a motorcycle, so you gotta look out. Now, that's not to say that everybody that was already here is a bit of an angel that knows what they're doing. I'm just saying all of that has added to the danger. Now, at the dealership today, they're supposed to be having a biker bash, which I kind of laughed when I seen the name, because I don't like being considered a biker. I think the biker moniker conjures up the Hell's Angel stereotype, and I'm not that in any way, shape, or form. And also, neither are the vast majority of all the other riders. Some think that they are, which is kind of funny. You know, if you're a criminal, I can't think of a worse vehicle to use than a motorcycle. You would have to figure out how to haul your illegal stuff, whatever you choose. If the police are after you, you'd better be a good rider. That's all I got to say, because you're going to be hitting some high speeds, and they're going to catch it pretty easy. There's a lot of reasons why a motorcycle would be a bad idea. And I don't think going to a Harley-Davidson biker bash would be the right move for a criminal, because, well, you got law enforcement, firefighters, all sorts of stuff, that all the government people are going to be there. I don't know, maybe that's a good thing for some criminal activity, I don't know. But I just kind of get a giggle when I hear the word biker. And it's really funny when you do an internet search and bicycling comes up because you put in biker. Yeah, I don't think they went the spandex type at the Harley shop. I could be wrong. Maybe that's a new thing. I can't keep track of the world today. And I thought of giving my 2 cents on the current Harley-Davidson downfall. But who cares? They're going to stick around. That's my 2 cents. A bowling ball company used to own them. All right? They'll be fine. It's part of Americana. Look at Budweiser. They've bounced back. You know, corporations can do all sorts of crazy things and get away with it. Probably going to rain on me today. That'd be fun. Greatly appreciate. Cool this place down a little bit. So if I was going to buy a new Harley, what would I buy? An old Harley. I don't know what's going on with the new stuff, but all I see when I look at one is dollar signs. Yep. That's probably how a Las Vegas hooker looks at a whale. You know, how they call the big gamblers whales in Las Vegas. When a hooker sees a whale, they probably get the same feeling as when a Harley-Davidson salesman sees a wealthy guy coming in. Like, oh, here comes a whale, look out. And that's in a bad economy. I don't know. Maybe Harley Davidson will even figure out the marketing for that. But the whole woke thing, that was happening with every company for a reason. There are rules for banking. And banking and insurance are kind of getting together and deciding what the laws are going to be for this country. And here comes the rain. Woohoo! You just can't ride these days without rain. And here I am just stuck in it. On this one, I'm feeling some serious wind kick up. I don't know, maybe I just don't care. Just ride like you just don't care, you know? Just keep on trucking through it. I don't feel like wearing a rain jacket and all this. It's kind of spotty. We hit sunlight again, you know? This summer has just been such an incredible amount of rain. Now we're coming into Sunbury. Sunbury's another little town that's getting gobbled up by urban sprawl. Not so bad as the others, but it's kind of in between Delaware and Johnstown. So Delaware completely outgrew its britches a long time ago. Intel had nothing to do with its demise. But we'll see what happens with it. Hopefully some good people plan it out well. And that seems to be the key. If you got good people planning it, it helps. Johnstown's probably getting done expeditiously with less care to how the actual outcome is. And about all you get in Sunbury is this little area right here. Just kind of a large square. And then as soon as we turn this curve, we're into Everywhere America. Everywhere America is just like it says. It looks like everywhere else in America. There's your CVS, and there'll be a Dairy Queen and a Taco Bell and a Kroger's and everything you would expect. I'm so old. I can remember a large farm sitting where that Chase Bank is. Have you ever wondered why banks need so much land? Nobody goes to the bank anymore. It's all done online, but yet they keep buying all the important corner lots and stuff. And I've heard that it's because they like to hold that real estate as an investment. And that's kind of a strange way of doing business. They say McDonald's does that too, where they want all the important real estate, and that's more of their business than the actual restaurant. And you see a lot of them closed up, and they have no problem just letting the building sit there for long periods of time. Yep, I'm so old I'm pointing out what used to be where. Maybe, I wonder sometimes, maybe I should not ride anymore, I'm so old. But then I keep seeing people older than me with big smiles on their faces doing fine. So I'll keep riding. I can't imagine what else I'd do if I quit riding. Might not be anything good for me. They're building back in there now. Now this Farrow up here, it's a boutique, a bit of a boutique dealer. They got Harley-Davidson dealers that don't sell Harley-Davidson. They are what you would call a boutique. They mainly sell the t-shirts, like in New Orleans. They've got a Harley-Davidson dealer down there, and all they're doing is selling t-shirts and little gadgets. But then on the other end, you've got the real dealer that's got the service and the bikes and all that. Well, this one has the service and the bikes and the this and the that, but it's also quite a large boutique. So I always rib Harley-Davidson riders when they talk about going to the dealer. I'll say, did you take it to the boutique? But it's all a good fun. You're not going to see a Honda boutique, but they make lawnmowers and jets. So, man, Yamaha makes guitars. or pianos or whatever. So it's all about money. I don't get too butthurt over any of it. You should be out here having fun. So that's what I try to do. Now we'll see if we can survive all this traffic up here. It gets pretty thick, to say the least. And I have missed my turn before, and that's a no-no here, boy. You miss your turn, you're gonna have to go through a lot to get back. There's an electric bicycle way over there. Those are interesting. That one looks like a foldable. Oh, I bet you that's a truck driver. What a brilliant idea. When I was driving truck, I would have loved having that. If you had a little bike like that, see, you get stuck at the truck stop, you're not stuck spending truck stop money. You can get on your little bike and go check out the real population with normal prices, normal food and stuff. Well, that's pretty telling. They're switching from, looks like they're going to put in a used car lot there. It won't be just motorcycles back here. Well, I made it. Well, I can hear them doing a dyno. I'm not sure where it's at, but sounds good. That's about all I got to say about that. These things, they're interesting, but not for long. That's my whole problem with all of it. Now that off-road Harley my opinion, Harley really jumped the shark on that one. And I say that because they it's not their specialty, you know. But again, just my opinion. Other people like them, but when I look at that, I think, you know, you got the KLR that's been around forever, and the Suzuki V-Strom, the Honda Africa Twin. Just so many off-road motorcycles that have been tweaked and perfected. Now if you buy one of those, they got problems. I don't know how many or the extent of it, but just do a YouTube search on problems with the whatchamacallit. I forget what they even call them. That's how little interest I have. The Harley-Davidson off-road bike, or adventure, the adventure bike. Oh, any bike can be an adventure bike if you don't care about it. Oh well, something to ride to today. And I like the salesman. When you walk in, it's like they look at me and they know, uh-oh, not my customer. You know how the kids say, not my problem. Well, when I walk in there, those salesmen say, not my customer. But I'm not in the market. I just like looking at them. I think the most interesting was the trike. And I do take interest in the Harley-Davidson trike because trikes are a hassle. Someday I might want one. Well, when you buy the Goldwing trikes, they're a Frankenstein of whatever company you buy the conversion kit from. They may be all right. They may be the greatest thing since sliced bread. But they are they're a problem because who knows if that company's going to be in business should you need parts for something that breaks on that conversion kit. It's problematic. Where the Harley-Davidson trike, I really like the idea of that because as much as Harley-Davidson's going through, you'll be able to get parts for that for a while, and there will be aftermarket. It'll stick around, especially that freewheeler, I think they call it. It's the less modified. There's different. It doesn't have a top case and all that like the Ultra. They didn't make it with the Ultra. I want to say they made it off of the Road Glide. And I'm probably right on that. But yeah, I think that would be your best bet. And I've rode a Can-Am before, and I really didn't like it. I mean, if you're a fan of it, don't. Hey, that just because I don't like it don't mean nothing. But it just felt too high. It felt like you were riding on a four-wheeler. And it just didn't have the feel I liked. We'll go back through everywhere in America here. Looks like we got a good storm rolling in. I don't mind storms if I'm on my way home. because once you're home, you just dry off. And I just didn't feel comfortable. Not afraid, not comfortable. So I don't want to hear, oh, you're afraid of the Harley rider. No, I just you walk in there and man, if you're not decked out head to toe with Harley regalia, like a turd in a punch bowl, as they used to say. But yeah, I own Harley and I ain't buying all that here. I'll leave it there for somebody else. Somebody else more needy. I'll give you a view of Sunbury going the other way. I like when you're riding behind a Harley because a lot of the Harley guys, they don't like to wave it on. Well, if you're right behind a Harley, they have to. And I think some of them feel a little bad about that. Goes against their code. It's funny how people are. I suppose I got some funny things too. Yep, not everybody funny. There's the Sunbury Grill. Never been in there. I'll try that sometime. Well, I had to kill it because the Harley stereo kicked in some music, and that'll screw up my video. I just don't want copyrighted music on there. Now we're going. Yeah, it's a shame that you can't just post whatever you want. I'll agree with the copyrighted material to to a degree because the problem is nobody cares about copyright with AI. So why should anyone? The copyright's just been thrown out the window. I just don't think it's right that they can do what they're doing, where all they do is grab information, run it through an automated process to make it uncopyrighted, and then call it their own. It just seems weird. it's just like leaves you wondering, how can they do that? How can they do what the rest of us may not? But it's gonna it's gonna really mess up the internet. You know what I mean? Will regular content like mine really be made different or better for people who want to see this? For people who want an original thought from anyone. And that's what I do like about motovlogging. I can understand the dislikes of different aspects of motovlogging. But here you got a guy that has to come up with material while he's riding a motorcycle. And that's not easy. Like, I got to pull everything from memory. I'm going to make mistakes every once in a while. And when you do, oh my, the comments will pile up. But if, well, like I've seen some moto vloggers, they're going to a system where they go out and ride with a camera on their helmet. And to bypass the most difficult part of moto vlogging, they sit in a studio or a very quiet room and they add in commentary that AI wrote for them. And hey, if that's making them money, more power to them. But I don't like it, and it's clogging up the internet for me. I would like to be able to turn off AI generated stuff. Now, am I above using AI for something like a thumbnail? Yeah, I might. Because if I want to compete, I have to. You know, I'm not an artist and I can't afford an artist. My content isn't making any money. Now, when I use AI, does that steal from an artist? It's highly debatable. They're copying from somebody. A computer didn't come up with the base of that art. Maybe I shouldn't use it just on premise. And it would make me different. You want to be different. You don't want to be like corn in a row out here. It's okay to steal from another motor blogger as far as a basic idea, or go in and see what's working for them, which might work for you too. That's standard procedure. But yeah, I don't think you should go much deeper than that. And that's another nice thing about motovlogging is it's virtually impossible for someone to copy what I do. They could come down these roads and talk, but they're never going to be able to copy whatever I did. Wow, these rain clouds are really coming in. I might not make it home without some water. Oh, there's a nice little piece of history. Get you one of them Pace Arrow motorhomes. If you get them cheap enough and you got the space, you can actually make money scrapping them. They usually got a desirable motor in them. A buddy of mine bought one that it had a 440 Mopar. That's a desirable engine. He made enough to pay for the whole RV off of scrapping out that motor. People wanted that motor. Oh, I can smell the rain. I'm probably riding right into it. Actually smells pretty good. Just make sure I got enough fuel to make it home. I don't mind riding in the rain, but I don't like combining riding in the rain with other problems. I don't want to walk in the rain because I ran out of gas, you know? I don't want a flat tire in the rain. I don't want to have to drive fast in the rain. I'm a one problem rider. I don't like to multitask. Yep, we're riding in the rain. I can see it. My Spanish really isn't that good. I don't think I'll ever make it as a bilingual motovlog. Oh, it's getting cold. That feels good for now. How cold will I be when I get home? I don't know. Probably pretty cold. When the golfers are leaving, you know it's bad when the golfers are leaving because they've got beer there, you know? I bet you one of them freewheelers, if I had to guess, they were too embarrassed to put a price on them. I know you ain't getting one for less than 30, and it's probably not less than 40. 40 to 50 is my guess on those. And I seen a weird thing I didn't like. They had the handlebars had this texture that was just like a bed liner. I did not like that at all. Of course, that's just optional stuff, but I wouldn't buy a new one if it had that on there. And I'm a blackout no shine type of guy. But bed liner on a motorcycle, that's a bridge too far. And I didn't video much of it. I figured, you know, if you want to see the Harleys, you'll go to the shop. That's part of the fun. It's not like I'm gonna whip out my video camera and you're gonna fall in love just because I showed it to you. I just took a couple videos of the ones I liked. Well, I think we're gonna go, and we're not taking this. That's the wrong one. I'm gonna end up getting hit for making it look like I'm turning when I'm not. Well, I'm trying to remember how to get home. I think it's this way. 62. Huh? Yeah, it's 62 is what I want. We didn't go through Johnstown's everywhere in America. It's still pretty small. I would hate to shop groceries there because I bet you that is one crowded Kroger's. And they don't have a Walmart yet. I'm sure that's probably in the works. That's not the road. Okay, so what? That's not the road. The next one's the road. I remember the flashing light. I just don't go that way very often. So it's like a new ride. Yeah, the corn's happy. As long as the corn's happy, everybody's happy. Got a little cool off today, a lot of humidity. How could corn not be happy? There's probably one ear out there that's probably not a happy one. That's how it always goes. I seen one of these big boy trucks, and they put their exhaust right up through their hood. And when they did their coal rolling that they do, where they do the black exhaust, wouldn't you know that just blacked out the driver's vision? We're on the road with these people, man. We're on the road with them. We got people putting the exhaust right in front of their face. Never seen anything that bad, but a little bit of modifications are good for everybody. I just can't see that one ending well. Ending well though. Well, I'm hitting this rain at the prime time. I'm not getting wet. I'm just getting hit with a cool spray, like those fans. They kind of spritz you. That's what this is like. Yep, a little bit of spritzing. A little bit of that cool spritzing. Here lately, my GoPro software is crapping out on me. So I lose control of the camera, and generally I want it to shut the camera and just kind of stall it. I use my phone for that, and no can do when it's not hooking up. Dry pavement. It's just spotty rain. Now we're a long ways. If I had to estimate, maybe 15 miles from the Columbus airport. They got radar sitting way out here. And I'm not a radar expert, so I wouldn't know why. But I just find it so strange that they put it all the way out here. I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Someone told me they don't even use it anymore. That modern radar is better than that one or something. But It's quite a system to have it like that. You know, I've also had people tell me that there was a nuclear missile silo out here, and supposedly it's not effective anymore. It's not. It's just empty. But you don't expect that they're out here. You expect they're out in Montana and stuff. There's probably a lot of stuff about that aspect that nobody knows simply because you don't need to know. It's probably not even secret. It's not like you can hide a missile silo. But why would anyone need to know? So you just don't. The people who told me said they were coon hunting and came across it while they were coon hunting. These are all natural farms here. Or organic. I think they're organic. I always thought a funny thing for organic would be an organ as your slogan. You know, get it? Organic. It's probably why I'm not in advertising. Probably, probably a real good reason why I'm not in it. But we all have ideas, don't we? It could be another type of organ. That would be really bad, but I'm thinking like a Wurlitzer. Wurlitzer organic produce. That'd be a good name for a organic produce company.